Hello, Sarah and I are back again to talk a bit more about family law, more the sort of the general area of what we do. And we were talking earlier about what people might be interested in. And I suppose the first thing is how you choose your family lawyer and what you're looking for when you're thinking about approaching somebody.
I mean, I would say it's a big decision. Most people haven't needed to approach a family lawyer in the past, so lots of clients are nervous about making that first contact, which is understandable. It's not something that most people have been through before. A family solicitor is going to be a real, the relationship you have with your family solicitor is a real personal relationship, because as much as we are here to tell you the law and advise you on strategy and try to get the best outcome for you in terms of the finances or the arrangements for your children or whatever it might be, we are dealing with your life, and therefore you need to have that relationship where you feel that you can trust your family solicitor and that they are listening to you and actually hearing what's important to you. And I think that's not something that you will necessarily find with every person. It is a personal relationship. But I would like to think that certainly I would say we all really care for our clients and want to get the best outcome for them. But it's a personal relationship, and it's important to get it right and feel that you've got that rapport.
Yeah. And then we get a lot of our work, don't we, from recommendations from existing clients.
Yeah.
Sometimes, unfortunately, repeat business when a client's maybe already used us for the breakdown of a relationship. Sometimes because they're getting married again and they want a prenup. I think the most important thing is that you need to trust them, and you need to have, as Sarah said, you need to have a connection with them. And I think it's okay if you have that initial meeting and you think actually they're not the right person for me. I think it's okay to say that.
I do, absolutely, because you don't want to go partway down the road with somebody knowing that actually you're not gelling with them.
Yeah.
Only to then have to try and find somebody else. And it's a big deal to go and see a solicitor. And I saw a new client last week who, she said to me in the room, I'm so nervous about, and it was almost that she was nervous about what I might say to her. And I had to reassure her that I was there entirely to support her, that we were going to be a team together. And throughout the meeting, you could see her becoming visibly more relaxed, and that's great to see.
So I think that's the biggest bit of advice I would give anybody choosing a family solicitor, is not to be frightened or embarrassed to, after that initial meeting, think they're not the right person for me. I don't think we wouldn't take it personally, because you've got to click. And so what would happen? It might be worth us explaining to people what would happen when they do first get in touch with us to make an inquiry.
So we get inquiries over the phone, through our website. As Helen said, we get a lot of referrals. So somebody might email us to say that their friend, sister, hairdresser has given them our details. So they will make that initial contact with us. We need to initially carry out a conflict check to make sure that there is no conflict of interest issues with us moving the relationship forward. But assuming that that's okay, we then set up an initial meeting. And that's really, the initial meeting is, it's an opportunity for both us and the client to sort of test that relationship and get a feel for each other. Obviously, we find out information that we need about the background to the relationship. We offer advice, and I always like to say to clients in a first meeting that I'd like them to leave that meeting having a plan, even if that plan is that they're going to go away and have a think about things for 2 or 3 months and get back to me. But and to answer any sort of immediate questions, because clients do have different questions at the breakdown of a relationship, and different priorities.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's important to make sure that they have those questions answered, and then following that meeting, we send out a letter of advice confirming everything that we've discussed and sort of setting out the next steps and the plan. And then really things move forward in different ways depending on what the case is and what stage the clients are at.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I always say to clients, because they'll start trying to make notes of things, and I do try and reassure them that actually when we send them a letter of advice, it sets out what they've said to us and what we've said to them, and we're not expecting them to remember everything. Because I think if you go to any meeting with a professional, if it's a doctor's appointment, you always forget things.
Absolutely.
You forget what's said to you. You might forget a question. So I do tend to say to them as well, if you think of anything after the meeting, when you're driving home, send me an email. But also, don't make any decisions about anything until you've got the letter of advice, until you can just
see
sleep
clearly.
You can read it and sleep on it and just think about what it is you want to do next.
And I think that's really reassuring. And I do, you're probably the same. I get a lot of clients come in who aren't necessarily ready to move forward, but things might be sort of starting to go wrong. They're considering what position they might be in if separation becomes a reality, and they just want to know where they stand and what their options are.
I think so, yeah.
And that can be a really helpful exercise, because you have that initial meeting without any pressure of impending divorce proceedings or letters from solicitors on the other side. We send out the letter afterwards to sum up what we've discussed, to give them a clear picture of their legal position. And then we might not hear from them again for 6 months, or obviously ideally never again from their perspective. But they've got us there in the background already. We know the facts of their situation, and then if things do go wrong, or they do suddenly get a letter out of the blue from the other half solicitor, they've got us there straight away at the end of the phone to say, help.
I think as well, a lot of people have, every case in family law is different and is specific to the facts. And I think we have a lot of people that come in who will have spoken to Gary down the pub, or their hairdresser, or their aunt, or their brother, or somebody else who's been through it, and then their mind's racing with, well, this happened to them. And they got this, or they didn't get this, or they had a terrible experience with this. And when you're lying in bed at night and you're worrying about everything, that's, I think, coming to see a lawyer and just getting some guidance on what the parameters are and what might happen, what isn't going to happen, is really helpful.
It does, yes, it's reassuring. And also there might be things that they do need to do straight away. So, for example, if the family home, they might be married, but the family home might be owned just by the other person. In that situation, obviously, they would need to take some steps to protect their position with the land registry. So I always think it's useful, if you think you're going to need advice, to get it as early as possible, because the more time you've got, the more settled you feel, and the more able you feel to cope with what is going to be a tough time ahead. Yeah.
And we've been talking recently about what makes our team different to other teams, because it's hard. I think it's hard to explain to a client, or to put it, because I think a lot of it comes down to our personalities. But what do you think makes us special as a team? In a good way.
Yeah, especially in a good way. We are a great team. We've been here, all of us have been here for a long time. And I think that says a lot about us and about our relationship as a team. We do care about clients. We want to get the best for our clients. And we put a lot into our relationships with clients in ways that I don't know that other firms necessarily do in the way that we work. So obviously we've got a lot of partners, but if you instruct a partner, that is the person that will be dealing with your case. They will be the person who telephones you to check things. They'll be writing the letters. They'll be working. We do obviously, we have support from more junior members of the team, but we are the ones that run that case for you, and we give you that personal service, which you don't necessarily get at every firm.
I think as well, our support team, our secretaries, care as much as us.
Absolutely.
And I think that's not always the case.
And they are, all of them are so capable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're not just showing up to work each day. They are showing up to do the work for the clients in the same way that we are.
And I think that makes a big difference to the clients and us.
Yeah, they feel it's an extra layer of support that they've got.
Yeah. What do you enjoy most about working in family law?
It will sound really corny, but I do enjoy helping people. I've always been drawn to areas of law in my training where people were going through a difficult time. So I really enjoyed probate, for example. where people are going through a difficult or traumatic experience and they need support as well as legal advice, and you take them through that process of helping them and getting them out the other end. And it is always helpful, and it's always, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's always really rewarding to see the difference in a client from that initial meeting when they're so anxious and don't know what to do, to seeing them become, and they don't, it's not an overnight situation, but to see them at the end of the day a stronger person, sort of more clarity in
making decisions confidently.
Absolutely, and that you've had a huge hand in that to get them there. I would say that's the best thing about our job.
I think we asked everyone in the team, all the fee earners, or I asked them what made them choose the law or family law, and I think pretty much across the board we had, because I wanted to help people, that I wanted an area of law.
It's a really stressful area of law to do. You're dealing with high conflict situations, clients who are in difficult situations. So you've got to want to help people.
Yeah. There's extremes of emotion, aren't there, on a daily basis. And I think that's probably the other thing about what we do is no day is quite the same, because you never know quite what's going to happen.
And a case that you think, oh, this is going to be quite straightforward, something completely out of the blue can come along and turn it on its head.
And what about what you don't enjoy? Dealing with the court?
Yes, it's got to be the court. The court system is on its knees, and I would say that's got to be the worst
it's the most
aspect of our job. Although we are, as a profession of family law, finding ways to deal with it through private court hearings, arbitration, mediation, and I think that really that says a lot about family lawyers. We're not just saying, oh, the court's a bit rubbish, we're going to have to wait. We're saying, okay, the court's not the best fit for this,
but we can do
Let's try and look at it in a different way. We are motivated by wanting to resolve these conflicts for clients and getting them out the other end as cost effectively as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing actually I'd say about our team and us as individuals. We're all fairly proactive. I think we look for another solution. We are problem solvers, aren't we? Because our clients phone us.
Yeah, you've got to be in this.
And they say, this has happened, and what we have to do is say, right, well, let's do this, let's do that. And I think as parents, both of us as parents of teenagers, we do a lot of problem solving outside of work as well. So yeah, that's definitely a skill that we require. So hopefully that's given everybody an insight into what family lawyers do generally, and we'll be back next time.